Wearing pants, Envy's not wearing any shoes. Like we're comfy.
Just gonna scoot away.
She didn't notice when she walked around here, but she looked after I told her.
Notice, yeah, totally. Yeah. Checkered underwear.
Yes.
Really?
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry. I wanted to match your jacket. I wanted to be unassuming.
Oh my gosh. Hopefully this game doesn't take an hour.
That's okay. You know what? If it's a good hour, I don't mind it.
Really, is it ever a good hour?
You never know. I would say honestly, like I said to Rainey about the last match, if you really go back, I know it sounds unappealing for most of you, but if you really go back and you watch the replay of that game, you can really learn a lot about Dragonverse Shadow. You can learn a ton.
I think once you get to the last 10 cards, if it's pretty epic, it's fun.
Yeah.
But it's not worth it. It's not worth the first 30 cards. So
I don't know. I'm enjoying myself. It's a good day. All right, so sword here. This is not mid sword. This is ambush aggro sword.
I love this deck.
This is super aggressive.
I've been grinding ladder with this deck. I got 2K Master Score by accident playing this thing. It's really great.
By accident, because it just wins sometimes.
Just whatever. You know, it's free wins if you get the curve.
So we're seeing neutral rune with Witch of Sweets here. Might not be active next turn if another rune card is drawn.
Right. Witch of Sweets, unfortunately, just, you know, stops Witch of Sweets.
Yep.
So,
but does draw a neutral card, so Witch of Sweets turns on. And being on the play here with a nice curve is gonna kind of put a chink in what Tizin is doing.
He does have some good face damage here, though. So,
will he trade?
He will value trade against neutral. We've been seeing that all day.
Yep, makes sense, especially when you're on the draw, because Alice, this ever-imposing figure that can come down on turn 4 and just pump all of your
the best 4-drop in the game, because they always have it.
That's right.
Every time.
And it's still the story of the last 2 days. If you're on the play and you're playing neutral, you never miss out on Alice. It just doesn't happen.
It's kind of a weird turn now for
very weird
Misobon. Like, do you trade or what? Like,
I think it's okay to trade because, again, Witch of Sweets isn't a neutral follower, isn't going to get pumped by any of the cards in your hand, so easy to trade this card. I might even follow it up with the Witch of Sweets, but, again, that doesn't work with Alice, so probably play the neutral follower here. Unica, perfect play. Trade. This princess isn't going to be able to do anything.
Right, now, Unica basically has ward, so.
Quick Blader could come in to finish off this Unica. Looks like that is the plan.
It is. Wow. I was going to emphasize, you know, your frog turn.
Should have been quicker.
I'm not a Peppo fan in general.
Vagabond Frog is not a Peppo, okay?
Is he not?
Vagabond Frog is a Pepe.
Pepe? Okay? What's the difference? Explain it to me.
Pepe is the original. That's all you gotta know.
Okay.
Peppo is an insulted frog. It's a damaged frog, if you will.
Well, in my mind, it is a Peppo because he's damaged in my eyes. So that's all I gotta say about that.
His design is interesting, right? You know, permanent ambush is interesting.
It is interesting. Absolutely.
Whether it's fun to play against or with, you know, that's up to the person, really.
Now, the one benefit, and we kind of glanced at this in the beginning of the cast here, is that Ambush actually turns Shield of Flame into this incredible removal spell.
2 play points, 6 damage to anything.
6 damage to anything if you have an Ambush follower.
Almost as good as Elf Twin Assault.
Right.
Which could just do 2 damage.
Just condense.
Yeah, could do 12.
Right.
But yeah.
Very good against Neutral Rune because Neutral Rune is really good at playing one big follower at a time.
That respect. Even traded there with Kunoichi.
I like it. I like it a lot. So even a Hector here, even a Felice, all gets kind of bricked out by a Shield of Flame unless Felice gets evolved to go face here.
Which still just trades anyway.
Yep. So still would trade with, you know, the Kunoichi trainee. Or is it Ninja Trainee? It's Ninja Trainee.
Ninja Trainee, yes.
Yeah.
There's no Kunoichi Trainee.
Once I got used to saying Kunoichi, I didn't want to stop saying it for any of the ambush followers.
Is that even how
sword.
Kunoichi?
Yeah, I think so.
I say
if
Kunoichi.
It's not, great.
Kunoichi.
Then I'm just wrong all the time.
I'm sure one of us is saying it wrong.
Sure.
One of us is probably trying harder than the other one. Yeah, Kunoichi.
Right. So just gonna ignore the Felice, it looks like.
No, just gonna bane it.
Okay.
Mostly because you keep the bane.
Yep, I like it.
Pretty good value.
Unbelievable.
Awkward enough, Lyriel is not in his hand. For once. Never mind.
Never mind.
Sorry, my bad.
Yep. So Lyriel comes to save the day against the Bane here. Hector would have been a fine play to clear out the Bane too.
Right, also. But Lyriel can be played next to Alice, and it's just actually just so fluid, you know?
Super fluid. Does turn off the ability to play Hector maybe next turn. Which is going to be very important. Does need to get that ward down pretty quickly after this next turn that Ephemera is going to pump all of the followers on the side of Tizin to just push for so much damage this turn.
Ephemera Shield of Flame is great this turn. Push a lot.
Push a lot.
Push a lot.
Yep.
Push it to the limit.
Yep. I don't even necessarily think you Evo this turn because you have a guaranteed Evo and Ephemera at any time.
You definitely do, actually.
You definitely do. Why?
Right. Because Ephemera, when you play her, makes everything +1, so you're adding 3 to your board by playing Ephemera.
Right.
If you add 5 to your board by evolving, you push 10 this turn, putting him at 4, which means Peppo is lethal.
Aha. Okay, that makes sense. Peppo next turn is lethal.
Pretty sure you evolve here.
But Peppo next turn technically could be lethal with Ephemera if you don't evolve this turn. So very
similar. Your whole board would die. Your board's gonna die.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
It's all dead?
Except for the ambush followers. They're gonna live. Because they're, you know, you can't touch those, but... Also, pushing him as low as possible is great against... Obviously, we know that he has Hector, but great against Hector.
Right,
so
that's true. That way you can top deck an Angel the Word or just something spicy off the top to win the game. Absolutely.
Shield of Flame, he actually might even... He's going to save that, actually, for a ward.
Okay.
I like it. Yeah,
yep.
Same, yeah.
Yeah.
Ditto.
So even if Hector comes down here, just not going to block any of the ambush follower damage, and then, yeah, like you said, that's lethal.
It's mega lethal.
That's it.
That's super lethal.
Super lethal. Not even a ward can help here. Now, what this means is, if Misobon knows what's possible, he could play this Wizards of Oz and possibly get out of this with a Mutagenic Bolt, maybe?
Possibly.
Possibly?
Possibly. There is a universe somewhere in the multiverse.
But it would have to be more. It'd have to be Mutagenic Bolt plus something.
Right.
But as it stands, like you said, that
That's
play,
just lethal, yeah.
Shield of Flame doing work here. Doesn't even matter that the Hector's pumped. 6 damage. That's enough.
So good. 2 play points for 6 damage is
so good. And at its best in a deck like this, mostly in the mid sword decks and the neutral sword decks that we see, the only sometimes ambush card that we see is Sabaki, and that's a late game play.
Right.
So very well played.
Ambush sword.
Very well played by Tizin there.
Doing stuff.
Absolutely. And I think he might be the only one running this deck here. I know we see it a lot on our side of the world.
He can't be. He can't be. There's no way. Fanto, I think, also had it.
Fanto had it? Okay.
Yeah, I think so.
Well, regardless, we see it a lot over here. And sword...
No, sorry, Ochi had it. My
Ochi.
bad. I'm so sorry. Yeah, Ochi had it.
So,
because Ochi had every aggro deck.
Gotcha. And on our side of the world here, on our side, you know, the western side, we see ambush sword all the time. We see aggro sword all the time. That
we saw
kind of
Jay-Z
thing.
play that list to a T, actually.
Exactly.
Recently.
Yeah.
2 weeks ago, I think, in the NGE Shadowverse Open in A side. And I copied that list and played it on a ladder, and it's exceptional. It's great.
It's great. It does its job very well. And we see the Japanese doing the same thing. It's so they know how to play their aggro.
Yeah, for sure.
They play their ramp dragon. They have the whole field there. So everything that we see on our side, we see over there. Maybe just slight, you know, changes to the deck list, but very similar.
Kind of scary, like, you know, Japanese players, they seem to know how to play everything.
Right.
Yeah, they may be a bit timid at times, holding Bahamut for 30 turns.
One thing that I'm actually scared of, if I ever played against a Japanese person on, you know, a big competitive stage and they were playing D-Shift, I would be super scared. I don't know what it is, but I think they know how to play D-Shift better than we do.
Why?
I don't know.
What gives it away?
I don't know.
You've seen it before?
I see it win tournaments over in Japan a lot.
You heard a story? Oh, yeah? You see it win?
And they have huge fields over there.
Oh, okay. I feel you.
So just, yeah, I mean, in order to get past a huge field with D-Shift, you have to know what you're doing. Either that or you have to be the most insanely lucky person of all time.
Or you got draw every game.
Right.
Easy, right?
Right. All right. So let's get into this. Tizin with a decent draw. He's got a 1-2 into a possible 3 with another 2-drop. Baphomet could draw a better draw here. And Misobon, not a great draw.
No, Misobon's draw is terrible.
Yeah. No 1-drop, no 2-drop. Defensive 2-drop. But nothing to get him on the board. Generally, you like to see a 2-drop, especially against something like a Goblin.
Urias is a bit better to cast Zombie Party on than Baphomet would have been.
Absolutely.
Play your old hand always.
Yep. Easy Zombie Party here. You want to get that Urias off before it deals any damage to you. And Shadow is probably the class that Urias scares the most, besides Force. But of course, we don't see any Force today, so.
Right. Drawing a Vanilla.
A Vanilla.
Not that big of a deal.
Off the top. I think Vanaya actually is the pronunciation.
Yeah.
Envy. I'll correct you there.
Vanarea. Really.
Yeah. Vanarea.
Yeah.
Okay. I can go with that one. We'll middle ground it.
Yeah. You know, whatever. Just meet somewhere in the half.
pushing a lot of damage here.
Oh yeah, flooding the board, even.
And
It's kind of bad if his hand is terrible after this, though. So.
Yeah, the Lyrials off the top will do a little bit of work here to try to stem the bleeding.
A little bit. Lyrial, you know, we haven't seen her before today.
Right.
She's not that good of a card.
Right. She doesn't normally do anything, but here.
Right.
Very good.
Right. Yeah. Lyrial almost never does anything. Right. Totally ever.
So being able to clear off all of the big followers this turn, leaving behind the goblins, not bad.
Mm-hmm.
Goblins evoed next turn to deal 4 damage plus the Razory Claw, up to 7 damage.
But I mean, he's just out of steam after that.
Right, nothing left.
There's no more steam after that, so.
Now, do you save the Lyrial here? Probably not. Like 100% not, right? Just so it doesn't die, so you have access to it again. No.
I think just putting the body on board.
Yep.
It's good.
Have the Cerberuses for next turn. Easy
Night
stuff.
board.
Not a bad draw. Much better than Razor Claw to face here.
Could actually clear the board.
I think Evo Face is still the play with a Caraboss style deck. I think.
Clearing the board is
Not bad. I'm not going to lie, it's not bad, especially because it's a Lyrial that you'd be leaving behind.
Yeah.
So definitely an interesting choice to make here for Tizin.
And the skeletons just trade with the bats anyway. So
Right.
if you leave this board, your board's dead.
Right. Okay. Yep, definitely thinking about it though.
It's a lot of initiative. I really do think you do it.
I think as the Caraboss player, you're thinking, I want to Evo Face here, but I really should clear the board.
It's the difference between having 3 followers next turn versus having 0 followers next turn.
That's true.
And I think, that translates into 3 damage, which is much more than 2 damage from the Evolve.
That's true.
3 is better than 2.
You're right.
I can still do that kind of math
Good
right
math.
now. So.
Good math, Envy.
And he's going for it. He's clearing board.
Yep, just like Envy stated, clear board.
Evolves the furthest left bat. I like it. Not the one in the middle.
That's kind of how I do it too. I never start in the middle with Shadowverse. I always start from the outside and work my way in.
I like the middle.
Yeah?
Yeah, I like the middle.
Middle player, you're crazy.
Because when you evolve the one in the middle, the bats would look at each other.
Oh.
Now they're looking away from each other.
Yeah, but see, I like that.
That's weird.
It kind of looks like, I don't know. It looks more intimidating to me.
That's weird. You're weird.
I am weird. I won't lie. All right, and this, I believe, just easily opens up Caraboss for next turn, and I think is just going to start pushing way ahead with it.
Oh yeah, I mean, I've heard somewhere in the grapevine drawing 2 cards a turn is pretty good.
Pretty good, especially when you're ahead and it continues to deal damage for you.
Mm-hmm.
We'll leave an easy Evo into this Cerberus and then just push for 3, eventually 4 with the Caraboss trigger.
All right. And see, that damage translates much better this turn.
Yes.
He's actually getting damage in.
Absolutely correct. And keeping this full board is really going to be hard for Misobon to deal with what we know. So
that was weird.
Choosing to save the Evo point, or maybe
no, he's not.
Maybe Evoing Face?
He's definitely not saving it.
Okay.
He's definitely not. He's keeping his Caraboss healthy, though, which I like.
That makes sense. And not Evoing the Caraboss to make it susceptible to
Soul Squasher. Yep. Little Soul Squasher.
So best play here, realistically, is just Cerberus and pump it with the Mimi.
Looks like a Necro Assassin instead.
Okay, you're right. This is actually the best play. This will clear board.
Rolling dice. Well, it could. It could also not clear board. Unless he evolves unless he evolves Dominator first, but he didn't. He actually doesn't clear board.
What?
He didn't evolve it first and doesn't clear board.
No.
He's just dead. He's dead.
Oh, no. You have to evolve the Demon Eater first there.
Wow.
Wow, that's just a straight misplay, Misobon.
And Misobon. We mentioned fatigue.
Yeah.
And fatigue is real, I think.
We can definitely see it
fatigued.
settling in here for these players. Absolutely.
I mean, you're probably dead right now, tired.
No.
You got red eyes.
I'm good.
Like, and you saw that, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, Misobon was in game and didn't see that. That's weird. That's interesting.
Yeah. The fatigue is definitely setting in, and you know what? I feel a little bad, but you know what? That is what really separates the big competitive players.
Yeah, for sure.
From the ones that
if you
aren't
can't play Shadowverse for 12 hours straight, you don't deserve this win. Like
not on the biggest stage.
Realistically, yeah.
Not on the final day. You gotta stick it out.
For sure.
These are the important matches. You gotta be aware and present for all of them.
That puts him 1 game away.
1 game away.
Misobon is one game away now. He could get swept.
He could be. We don't want to see that. We don't like seeing that, especially in the second round.
Yeah, sweeps are just not fun to watch.
They're
well, I mean, every game of Shadowverse is fun to watch.
Right.
But except for Control Mayors. But sweeps are a little less fun. I like seeing players compete.
I will point out that Envy and I are strict opposites in this. I love watching Control Mirrors. It's what I grew up on. But
you know, some people have problems.
some people do have problems.
That's your problem.
Perfect. All right, so we get to
Mysterian
see.
Grimoire is in this guy's deck.
Oh, right. This is wallet neutral rune.
Right.
That's right. And Grimoire is something that we used to see, and we actually saw it way back when Abomination Awakened came out, because that was played in a style of deck like this. But this is definitely different departure. He's not playing very many spells. He's just going for value with the Grimoire so he can get into his Saha Quill draws in his late game. And again, we see Misobon with not a stellar draw. He's got an okay 2-drop, but not a lot of follow-up to it.
Pretty okay.
Yeah, it's not terrible, but it's not what you'd like to see.
Well, he's going to top deck Bone Chimera naturally. So.
Yes. Bone Chimera would be a great top deck.
This hand from from Tizin, though.
Kind of clunky.
Yeah, same thing. Dark Conjurer, Bone Chimera, same card. You know, realistically. Pushing that face damage, he knows he needs to against a deck like this, so.
Yeah, easy Guimar turn.
Oh my gosh.
See,
you know,
like
when you think
this,
about it, Grimoire is just better than Baphomet, or Belphegor.
I mean, it
It's
definitely
much better
can
than
be.
Belphegor, yeah.
Cost less.
Yeah.
Always draws you 2, and yeah.
It's not going to banish anything.
Yeah, I mean, it's only a 1/2 though.
True. True.
I actually haven't seen that card since the Abomination Awakened deck. I think I saw it one other time in a tournament where a player was playing a Dirt Rune deck with it when their only spells were the Mutagenic Bolts and things like that.
3 play point draw 2.
It's not terrible.
I don't care what stats it's got.
It's not terrible.
Alice on 4 always.
Yep. We definitely don't see it enough, though. I think Grimoire could fit into more styles, but with the nature of how the metagame is right now, with the neutrals decks being so strong, the stats really do matter. At
it
the
not
moment.
being a neutral is a pretty big deal. Yeah.
Right. Okay, that was a great top deck in the Necro Assassin here.
Since he has nowhere near enough shadows to cast the Soul Squasher, but he doesn't care. Actually,
he doesn't care about. Well, maybe he will use a Soul Squasher instead then.
he still can actually. He can draw again with this Soul Conversion and now Soul Squasher. So, great top decks here.
Not bad. This guarantees the kill, whereas Necro Assassin can kill anything, even non-evolved.
Right.
So, not a bad choice here.
Necro Assassin obviously going to be much better later against this kind of deck.
Absolutely.
You know, Bahamut in hand.
One of your only answers to some of the big followers is Seville Bahamut, of course.
Oh my gosh.
Wow. That's got to feel like something.
Poor Soul Squasher.
You're just like, wait, 8 neutral cards in hand? Okay. What are you doing over here?
Monka S.
Yeah, usually that comes down, it's like 2, 3 damage. It's like, no, 8. That's what Grimoire does right there.
Realistically, also, you know, Hector could have come down as well. Just done 3. Didn't need to do 8.
Yep. I wouldn't like an Evolve Orb here. I don't think it's necessary.
I would not either. Even though you've seen a Soul Squasher, you know he's not likely to have another one. I just wouldn't want it to happen.
Yeah, no reason to give up the advantage. The 3/6 body is big enough. And you're not in that much danger. You're at 16, but you know you have a Hector. You know you have plenty of plays coming
You're also
up.
not a deck that cares about pushing this 4 face, and you're not killing some 1/1s.
Right.
So.
Right. You got Saha Quill on deck. We see yet another deck. This is a very interesting deck to see Odins in, but we definitely see multiple Odins in Tizin's deck here.
I mean, they like Odin.
They like Odin.
I've seen Odin in Japanese players' decks. So.
You know, maybe Jay-Z had a really big conversation earlier today with some Japanese players, and he started playing some Odins because of it.
The thing is, Jay-Z, you know, he has the exact same copy of Ambush Sword. So
maybe he did a little collusion with the
practicing with the Japanese players.
Maybe so.
Has to be. I don't want to out him out, you know.
Right.
Don't want to give away
there's nothing wrong with it, but
no, yeah, obviously.
Maybe we figured out his plan.
You know, mixing yourself with other regions is always a good idea.
Of course.
Because you know what your region's playing.
More knowledge.
Finding out what they're playing, too, you know, is good.
Absolutely. Let's see, what do we have options to do here? Necro Assassin's still an option. I don't necessarily like it as much this turn.
Yeah, I would hate it, but it looks like he's going to go for it, actually.
Does feel like it.
He is.
Yep. So killing the Fleece here. Not a bad turn, because turn 6 isn't a huge thing for neutral. I mean, Hector's probably the best play. It's a very good play here. We'll clear the board and set up a ward.
Nice rhymes.
Yep.
Nice bars.
Unintentional, for sure. But we have 3 Thanes and an Ektar in hand for Misobon, so definitely not out. Definitely not in dangerous waters yet. Has a lot of plays to make.
Right. 3 Thanes is. It's gonna get there.
It's a lot.
That's pretty annoying.
Value. Yes. And the big wards being set up are really good against neutral because they just have big followers that they play. Now, of course, Odin's can take care of that.
It's so quiet.
But Odin is still at least a turn away.
Buffed Hector. 5/5. Soul Squasher drawn. You know, not that big of a deal right now, but Thane's going to get jammed. Probably evolving Thane here, I imagine.
100%.
Easy peasy. 6/7 Thane.
Goes down to 2, and this turn, I guess Hector was probably just the best play again. Could actually Lyriel for good value here as well, as always.
Yeah, or Sockwheel.
Okay, Sockwheel, Israfil, also a great play.
Right.
Clear out the entire board, do it for free essentially.
Don't take the damage from the whites, which is pretty big. Also, 5/5 Sockwheel. Strictly better than 4/4 Sockwheel.
Strictly.
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 Another Thane, alright, Thane number 2.
And now we actually get to see the power of Odin. He's got 2 Odins for the following things
Yeah,
here,
he does.
so these backup White Kings just not going to be present. I actually like this. Like, Odin actually showing a lot of value. It's really good against Goblin Princess on random turns.
That also
Immortal
forces
Thane,
Misobon's last evolve, too.
right?
Like, I mean, it didn't force it.
Right.
But it got it out of him, so, same thing, right?
Not bad. Decides to play the defense right now. But yeah, I still like Odin here. And then you can Israfil next turn.
I think Odin's fine. You do lose it and take 2, and then take 4, but...
Like, it's probably the best card to lose to the Bane out of your
Right,
hand.
yeah.
Smallest follower, you don't really care that much.
Not to mention, if you destroy more than one thing, you take much more than the 4.
Absolutely.
So...
You could also do like a Lyriel play to ping a white and then play a Hector to like finish off the Bane, but then you're leaving some damage in play. I don't really like that.
I don't know.
Although, if you do the Odin play this turn, wipe the board, you take 2, go down to 12. Ektar's a realistic play. You could take
True.
8
True.
and go to 4, and then you're in a pretty bad spot. So this is actually a really tough turn for him.
Mm-hmm.
That White King was played very well to protect these whites.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, you had to.
That's what he does.
Had to.
Okay, so he does go with the Odin play. Can't fault him.
Banished Reno gonna evolve.
Has to evolve.
He is buffed, but unfortunately Bane.
It won't be long now.
It's interesting with Alice to see all of these random cards you've never seen bigger than they've ever been before,
Right,
just like
just-
sitting in hands.
Yeah,
Just like,
7
wait,
attack
how big is that
Gilgameshes.
guy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
7 attack Odin. He looks pretty good with 7 attack.
Yeah?
I mean, A play .76 would be in everything.
Everything.
With that effect, every day.
Everything. So yeah, he could push with Ektar here. He doesn't really need to. He does know that Israfil is a possibility, so
Right.
Lurching Corpse is a perfect counter card to that.
Right. There's also the counterpoint of, we've seen, you know, Japanese players with Ether in their hand. They don't play that card.
At this moment, I actually agree with it. The Lurching Corpse plus the Tentative Knight is a perfect counterplay to Israfil.
Mm-hmm.
And this is right before turn 10, before Bahamut can come out. And honestly, if that Lurching Corpse isn't dealt with, then it also deals with Bahamut as well. So
Yeah, I mean, Israfil is realistically the only play this turn.
he has to clear the board even if the Israfil dies, because if he doesn't, Ektar is a realistic kill opportunity.
Mhm.
Now, technically, let's see. If he plays Odin, exiles the Lurching Corpse, and kills the white, he takes 1, goes to 7. Okay, going with the Lyriel play now. I like this.
This ends here. My wings are
Kill a
killing
white.
me.
No.
Whoa!
Unbelievable.
Taking extra damage here.
Taking the full 2. Taking 2 again.
2 more.
Finally a break. Unbelievable. No.
What in the world is happening? Sockwheel Israfil
And
to clear
then
the board?
clearing. Okay, took a lot of damage to do that,
Yeah,
but it does prevent an Ektar lethal.
it does. Also has no evolve, so, you know, actually playing Israfil is pretty impossible.
Yeah. I like that play.
I don't.
I like it. He took some extra damage,
I don't
but
like it at all.
he took the board back.
He's at 4.
He is at 4,
I'm scared.
but he's not dead.
I'm scared.
I'm scared for him too.
4 is basically dead. We're playing Shadowverse, okay?
And so one big departure that I've seen from a lot of the mid-shadow decks that the Japanese are bringing is they are all packing, or at least mostly packing, Phantom Howl.
True. Yes.
Now, I don't
true.
know if you can fit it in with 3 Thanes, but
No.
I have seen Phantom Howl
No.
in a lot of these decks for kill potential. I'm a huge fan of Phantom Howl. I always play 1 in my Shadow decks because I think the card's just great.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I think Phantom Howl's pretty good. Won quite a few games off the back of Phantom Howl.
Yeah. I mean, it can clear the board. It can finish off a game. It can help you win on turn 6, which otherwise isn't possible. Yeah, this other Thane here.
I would love.
Putting out so many
I was
lights.
gonna say I would love Soul Conversion on a Thane to play the ward,
Yep, this is an easy Bahamut turn.
which does just get met with Necro Assassin, so he doesn't care, or even just Lurching Corpse Soul Conversion.
Yep. I think Lurching Corpse Soul. Ooh. There's half of the damage he needs to win. Cerberus is 2 damage with the Mimi. So kill it off, plays Cerb, start stacking up for the late game. No. Yes.
He is. He will.
After playing everything. Yeah.
Yeah. Still can. Never mind.
Okay. This is just as strong. This will set
True.
up a very hard to deal with board.
Another
That-
Bahamut, but
yeah.
doesn't matter. Okay.
Bahamut doesn't matter here. Odin is okay, but not good enough. I think that's it. If he plays Israfil, goes to 10. He's got an Ektar to get around that. There's no wards in hand.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, there is a Hector all the way on the right-hand side.
Yeah, there is.
But again, not good enough. I think that's it.
That's it. Misobon gets a win.
I think Misobon gets this one. Good on him. Very well played game.
Not getting swept.
Yeah, not going on tilt. Playing very well this game. Basically playing around everything that Tizin could do all game. Awesome play.
Bahamutu.
Here comes the Ektar or the Serb.
Super Deadu.
Game time. All right, we have a real match on our hands. Misobon coming back. Will he clean sweep on the reverse?
Will he?
Will he?
Will he?
I'd be interested to see.
We're gonna see. He is, he gets that game, but he is still just one away from losing.
Right.
So
Those are the 10 spots to play, though. And he's shown that he is okay under pressure.
true.
Down 2 games, still not afraid to make all the good plays
But
and get there.
Tizin showed he's not afraid to 2-0,
Of course.
and then
Right.
just win again. So
Right.
he's also got a good deck against I think these matchups left. So
It could be, yes. Wallet Rune can be kind of tricky, though, because just like we've talked about before, if you're playing a Dragon-style deck, which is kind of how we classify these decks, if you're playing Bahamuts, you're probably playing a Dragon-style deck, just trying to get to the late game. You can falter, you can kind of stumble on the way up, and if you stumble on the wrong turns, especially against an aggressive deck, you could just fall.
it is possible.
They're in it.
Oh,
They're
yeah.
focused.
They're concentrated.
All right, here we go. So we've got Wallet Rune
I guess
versus
you're looking for a fight. Let's see you
Neutral
in
Rune?
action.
Neutral Rune.
Neutral Rune with Mutagenic Bolts. I like that card against the heavy deck.
Oh yeah, Mulliganing Alice. Whew.
Wow.
Oh my
That
gosh.
hand is not what you want to see. No curve for Misobon.
And Tizin's hand looks kind of okay. It looks fine.
Tiz's hand looks
Oh
great.
my god. What in the world?
These are my best work.
This is a match for your life here. This is not what you want to see.
Tizin breaking a little bit now too. Oh my gosh. Tizin. Who shuffled either of these decks?
Right.
What in the world is happening right now?
Tizin has plays at least. There's a
Two
play.
drop finally, yeah.
Now I bloom on stage.
Man, I'm like in it
There's
for
a
Misobon
world.
right now.
Now that just died, there's a world where he can't play anything.
There is a world where he can't play anything this next turn. So I was saying the aggro deck could find a way for the slower deck to falter.
He drew a Kaiser, so he can evolve a Killerial.
This
Good.
late game neutral deck is finding a way to see Misobon stumble here.
Finally a break.
Oh my gosh, Felice is playable though. So
And it's not the worst. So Misobon might be stumbling here, but he's playing against a really slow deck that really doesn't have a way to win that fast. However, does have 2 Felices in hand
are you watching the same game?
to get there. So
I mean, he's pushing 8 this turn.
this is quite literally one of the only draws that Tizin could have to do this, and he has it.
True.
So yeah, I mean, we're gonna see what, a Dance of Death here, maybe a Felice of his own.
Yeah, Felice of his own is better.
Felice unfortunately doesn't really deal with the 4/7 unless he goes all in for it.
Well, I mean, it kills 2 followers, whereas
To win.
Dance wouldn't.
That's true.
So
Both are 4 damage.
Won't be
That's
long
game.
now.
It's game.
It's over.
No
Another
crying.
Felice comes
No
down.
looking.
Attacks
over.
for 8. Wow.
It's over.
Misobon.
Was that like a full minute?
Wow.
Was that even a full
draw.
minute?
I feel bad for him. That is not the draw you want.
That's a
Won't
nerf
be long
Felice.
now.
That's a nerf Felice.
A nerf Felice.
Doesn't matter. When you have evolution orbs, still
Wow.
acts the same. Wow.
Impressive. Looks like you won.
Wow.
Every game should be that fast. Yes. Let's just get every single game to be that fast. That was
Oh my
incredible.
goodness.
He just won. Like
that was ridiculous.
he's just like whatever. I mean, realistically, Misobon's draw was
unreal.
Oh my God.
Unreal bad.
that is tilt city right there.
That would tilt me.
5 drops, 6 drops.